What is up, guys? CJ here, and today we are going to do the next installment in the backtesting series here on Brett. So this was a trade that happened, was it yesterday? Happened yesterday. I was not actively trading, but we did choose to backtest this model. However, this video is not about this model. The theme of this video is something I thought about a lot. I was recently, yesterday, in the mountains with another TCT trader, and we're both trying to figure out ourselves, in this game. And the biggest thing we keep coming back to is something that Mark Douglas talks about a lot, which is the probabilistic mindset. When I first started, I would have maybe thought that I had a probabilistic mindset, but I actually don't. Each model is random in itself. When you click the button, you get in a trade, it's random. No model has any significance compared to the next one. Each model in itself is a completely random outcome. Granted, we can use our TA, and the better we are at our system, to increase our chances. And there's a lot, maybe more, that goes into that, an internal state and whatnot. But for this video, we're going to take a look with a probabilistic mindset at two models here. We're not going to break down this model. We chose to back test this because we're not actively trading. So we were aware of it. I wasn't looking from this tap. We were already aware of it from this first break of structure right here, and this was the back test right here. But that is not what we're looking at today. So here's a model that did not work out. You could say it's the market, or you could say it's just a random outcome. Execute on the system, totally valid model to take. It's not really a model that's in a POI for me, so I have some liquidity, more of a fair value gap model. I remember a fair value gap model working on Doge though a while back, so they do work. But again, it's all random. So zooming out on Brett here, we had that model. What was the time duration on this? It's a little harder in this time frame, but it was about a 3-day model. The model we're going to take a look at. So there's a model that failed on Brett. Now let's do one that maybe was a winner. So we're going to go back in time to July 21st. This was a model I was aware of at the time and was looking at. I ended up taking a trade on virtual instead, but I should have taken this on my live account. So we're trending up, and we have some supply, and we just come into supply right there. So, got our range like this. All right. There's a deviation. Cool. 1, 2, and 3 into supply. Now right away we can see this is already a high probability ranging environment. We got our return to zone building up. We got probably our time duration already. We have a POI. So we're already stacking. We're already at the 4-day mark at this point. I'm wondering if, I actually do find it tougher to trade closer taps 2 and 3 for model 1s. I haven't found, and I've heard other traders actually mention that as well, using the TCT system, that these are tougher to trade on the win rate. But we are going to play out price here and see if we get something better. We're going to play it slower, not going to rush through it. Let's see what we get. All right. So, was there an entry here? Let's break it down. We're coming up, we're creating our RTZ, even better, coming up into this tap. So the way I'm viewing this is that these are merging together on the higher time frame. 4 hour maybe, yeah. So this is just one deviation right here on a valid 4 hour range. 2 candles up, Here's our third tap. Right here. You know, just giving us some better time displacement. The model is now 5 days in duration. Now let's see if we came into a POI that we could be watching. Looks like we might have something. And there we go. Okay, we do have something. Got this nice order block right here. And something that kind of makes more sense, I would think, is that we already potentially had a Model 1 on the lower time frame, so a Model 2 on the higher time frame, or an extended model, however you want to look at it, extended Model 1, has no reason to go above this point. So let's see what price ends up doing. It kind of comes up a little faster into this POI. But this is the tap right here, actually, that we are looking at. We actually go once more higher. Doesn't look like you could have got trapped coming into that POI because we really don't have any market structure. If you're taking this break, that's a little unfortunate, but I don't think you would be taking that given how aggressive we come up right there. So let's see what else we have. We got this demand right here. So this might be a little bit of a trickier entry. I remember this model, but I haven't gone through it since then. I don't really remember what happened here. So, kind of got a V-shaped buy to sell, creating demand. Wouldn't really want to enter there. Let's see if there was an entry even on here. It's looking a little tougher than I anticipated. Let's see if we come up once more. Or if we just go down, we would already had to be in an entry. Speed this up. I've not watched this model. Okay, I think we're already breaking down. So you would have had to get an entry already. This is a bit of a trickier one, boys. But again, showcasing that price is just random. You know, no good breaks in here. The only thing you would have, okay. So the only thing you would have, let's see if there's any supply. Not really. You could maybe look at this as extreme liquidity, or sorry, this right here is your extreme liquidity. You do tap that. So above there. You tap that perfectly. So not using this as our extreme liquidity because we swept liquidity with that. This is the first market structure pull after we put in our third tap, which comes in. Okay, so now we're seeing a little bit more of a story here why we came back up. It's because the high we put in just kind of left liquidity. So we just came up, grabbed that liquidity once more for some fuel for the downside. Let's see if there was a valid entry here. This is our market structure low though. Don't want to use any of this internal. And it looks like our demand is mitigated on the lower time frame. But you definitely still have some demand right here. Like you got to be aware of it. It's the only thing, and we're seeing this a lot. This is a theme in a lot of these models, is that this demand that's normally, it's the only thing protecting like a landslide RTZ, which we have in this model. You know, we've had in a lot of models, like the Pixel model we went over last week. So seeing patterns repeating, seeing a lot of similarities. I'm trying to see what the best entry was here on this model. I'm viewing this as a SFP, like none of these are good breaks right here to me. So it's definitely a trickier entry. But it seems like the best play was to use the domino effect with this break structure right here. This is something I don't do too much. So our main market structure is just trending like this, where we get a SFP of this low. Really get into technicals now, I guess. So you wouldn't want to enter here. The best entry was probably on the level 2. And it's easier to say this in hindsight, right? But on the level 2, like this. It's just that this is, make this blue. It's just that this is a clear invalidation. Like, we can't go higher. We swept this. We're already in a lower time frame model 1, and now extended model, because we come into extreme supply, and we came into it twice as well, sweeping this liquidity. So interesting to see that. But the best entry was right here. We're gonna see if we can give a better entry though. Like, again, random outcome though. So if we were playing this, we're saying this RTZ is really good right here all the way down into this demand. So if we get a refined entry right here, we're decently protected. Once we come down here, could maybe even look at taking a partial. I don't know. But let's run a couple positions how we could have done it. So break a structure, aggressive break right here, stop above this high. Again, this is just short here. Candle close right there, stop above this high. This is our invalidation. You know, you can maybe say faster move up because this is all kind of liquidity, and the purpose was to come up and grab the liquidity from this point to give us the fuel for the downside. I didn't realize the entry was going to be as hard, but again, all these models are very different in nature. And so if you take that level 2, break a structure, anticipating the domino effect to come down to this level, you have a 12.48 RR. Now let's see if we could give maybe a more realistic, that seemed a bit like an advanced entry, but again, we gotta realize the context we're in. We're in a very high probability environment, and we already have a confirmed model 1. Sorry, we should have said this at the beginning, but that's not this model 1 is already confirmed right here. So we're operating under the assumption that we are already in a confirmed model 1. So at standard, we can't go above this point. This is our Wyckoff invalidation, you know, and we come up here, we flirt with it, but we get this break structure on the level 2, SFP on the level 1. So it's a tougher entry. It's a tougher entry for sure, and I want to see if we can get a better one. So if we come, so we don't need this super high RR every time. We just want to be sure about some things. But again, this is a faster move up. So, you know, we're really getting the reps here. Like, this is a faster move up. Something I'm not good about is like, how can this be extra manipulation? You know, if you enter here and you see price blasting up to your stop loss, like, what are your thoughts going to be at that point? You know, probably not the best, probably a lot of doubt, but you know, we had a lot of buy side liquidity right here that price just swept and went lower. It's very interesting to see, you know, because sometimes when I'm in trades and I'm seeing price go against me, I'm having a lot of doubt. So this is a really good model to be going over to see that manipulation in action. You got to put yourself in the situation of being in this position right now. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have taken the level 2 break. Like, you know, like this demand was maybe super, like, you know, I should have gave this demand more credit. You know, like whatever your thoughts are when you're in this position. But, you know, price comes up. And this is like something I struggled with early. Now it's like an absolute rule for me is never close a position. Like a full candle's up here, like you are thinking that you're probably getting stopped out if you're watching price. If you're setting and forgetting, you're good. But if you're seeing this full candle up here, your stop loss is right here, like that's the uncomfortability that we have to get, you know, comfortable being in. And you can just see, like, there's no worries. Price grabs that liquidity and rotates right back down. We said we were going to give another entry, but I'm not really seeing like the best entry, the best re-entry. That level 2 break was the best entry. You could have even entered here on that bad break, but again, you have this demand here, so it's a tougher entry. But it goes back to the point of all models being random. Let's see if that demand is backed by anything. Okay, so that demand is not backed by any volume. Let's see if we can see the volume a little bit better. Yeah, even a bit of a dip in volume around this demand. So this demand not really backed by volume. I don't know how, I'm not a volume expert, but I've been trying to use a bit of like, obviously the volume area high, low POC to see if it's backing up, but this demand not backed by any volume point, let's just say that, so we can keep this on the chart. And I know we were kind of talking about a lot there. This entry was a little more technical than I had anticipated. I wanted to go in a little blind and just kind of see how it played out. But this was obviously the best entry on that level 2 break. Again, this has to be the invalidation, and there you hit a technical target. So here you can see a beautiful model here on Brett that does work. You know, we started off the video where it was like, it's not working, here it's working. You know, each model that we're taking is a flip of a coin. You know, and given our edge, that coin is going to land in our favor more times. And that is how we become profitable. You know, accepting our risk, and this was something I wasn't doing, that's why I'm doing a challenge right now, just to be fully accepting the risk. You know, there's a lot of things that I maybe thought I was doing where I maybe wasn't. Probabilistic mindset and fully accepting my risk. So here's a model playing out on Brett, when maybe you just took that last trade that doesn't play out. You know, the next one you take will play out. You know, if you took that model on Brett and lost, it has absolutely nothing to do with the next model you take. So we're gonna end the video there. If you were able to find an entry on this model, GG's. I think the only thing you can really go off of is that this was the clear invalidation. This model doesn't work if we go above this point. So we're gonna end the video there, boys, and hope everyone enjoys the weekend. Peace.